In today's world, more people than ever are single. Not because they want to be, but because finding a life partner seems harder than it's ever been. Swipe after swipe, checklist after checklist, hearts remain unsatisfied and homes remain empty. But why? Let's uncover the truth, not just from a societal lens, but through the timeless wisdom of Islam. Society's shallow standards versus divine wisdom. In our modern age, many people unknowingly walk away from potential soulmates, not because they lacked character, loyalty, or faith, but because they didn't fit the image. Too old, too short, not wealthy enough, not trendy enough. These shallow standards, often inherited from media and societal expectations, quietly kill relationships before they even begin. But Islam came to liberate us from such superficial measures. The story of the Prophet Muhammad and Khadija, radiallahu anha, is not just a romantic narrative, it's a spiritual message. Khadija was 15 years older than the Prophet. She proposed to him. She was a widow. Yet, the Prophet's love for her never faded. In fact, years after her passing, he would still speak of her with tears in his eyes and warmth in his heart. Why? Because their bond wasn't built on numbers. It was built on deen, sincerity, mutual support, and love for Allah. While the world may chase appearances, Islam calls us to prioritize what lasts. As the Prophet advised, a woman is married for 4 things: her wealth, her lineage, her beauty, and her religion. So marry the one who is religious. May your hands be rubbed with dust, i.e., may you prosper. Bukhari and Muslim. True compatibility, according to Islam, is not measured by social approval, but by righteousness and character. Age gaps don't break marriages, maturity gaps do. In today's matchmaking culture, people obsess over age gaps as though love and understanding have expiration dates. But the truth is, 2 people can be only a year apart and still be completely disconnected in goals, communication, and emotional depth. Real compatibility isn't about shared birth years, it's about shared visions. A man and woman may be years apart in age, yet walk in sync spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. If their hearts are united in purpose, especially a purpose rooted in the akhirah, hereafter, they can build a partnership stronger than those who only look compatible on the surface. Emotional maturity, not the calendar, determines whether a person is ready to handle love, sacrifice, and responsibility. Sadly, many stay alone because they're fixated on numbers, rejecting what Allah might have written for them due to a minor age difference, while ignoring major misalignments in values and faith. Islam teaches us to look beyond the surface. Look at the heart. Look at the soul. Does this person fear Allah? Are they striving for Jannah? That's the real match. The illusion of perfect on paper. We live in a world obsessed with checklists. A person's education, income, looks, social following, all become factors in their marriage resume. But what if that list is misleading? What if someone checks every box, but cannot hold your hand when life gets hard? What if they look perfect in photos, but ignore you when you're emotionally broken? What if they impress your friends, but forget to pray? That's not love. That's marketing. Real love is felt when someone listens to your silence, prays with you during storms, and reminds you of Allah when you're tempted to give up. The Prophet didn't choose companions based on status. He chose those who supported his mission, believed in him, and shared his values. Too many are lonely today, not because they can't find someone, but because they're chasing the idea of someone. They fall for a fantasy and ignore the reality that true companionship is built during midnight hardships, not filtered Instagram photos. Allah's design for marriage. Let's step back from society's noise for a moment and reflect on what Allah says about love. And of His signs is that He created for you from yourselves mates that you may find tranquility in them. And He placed between you affection and mercy. Surah Ar-Rum 30:21. Notice the words, tranquility, affection, mercy, not hotness, followers, or net worth. Marriage is a divine sign, not a social trend. It's a space where two souls find peace, not performance. Allah is the one who writes risk, and that includes your spouse. So many reject what was meant for them because they're too busy comparing or calculating. But the soul knows what it needs better than the ego does. If Allah sent you someone kind, God-fearing, and patient, but they didn't match your worldly list, would you say yes? Or would you let them go, thinking someone better might come along? True believers trust that Allah's design is wiser than their desires. That's when marriage becomes a source of sakina. Eternal love versus temporary beauty. Let's face a hard truth. Youth fades. Beauty fades. Popularity fades. What remains? Character, deen, loyalty, patience. People who chase youth often find themselves surprised when the excitement runs out. Physical attraction alone can't carry a marriage through sickness, hardship, or tragedy. But those who build love on faith, values, and purpose, their bond only grows stronger with time. The Prophet gave timeless advice. Marry the one who has religion. Bukhari, he didn't say marry the one with perfect skin, or the biggest house, or the best CV. Because religion, deen, refines the soul. It teaches forgiveness, it cultivates self-control, it nurtures compassion, and in times of conflict, it pulls us back to justice and mercy. That's the kind of love that lasts beyond this life, a love that leads to Jannah. So why are so many people still alone? The sad irony is, many are alone today not because there's no one compatible, but because they've misunderstood what compatibility truly means. They walk away from people who could be wonderful spouses, simply because the world told them to want something else. They listen to influencers instead of the Quran. They trust vibes over values. Some delay marriage because they're chasing perfection. Others fear commitment because they've been hurt. Many are stuck comparing every new potential to a fantasy version of love they saw in movies or online. But none of that brings peace. Islam teaches us that peace comes not from having the perfect partner, but from walking the path of truth together. Adwasha. To remember, if you've been waiting, or searching, or healing from heartbreak, say this. Dua often with sincerity. O Allah, bless me with a spouse who will be the coolness of my eyes, a companion in deen, and a path to Jannah. Ameen, and trust that Allah's timing is better than your planning. Final thoughts. Don't let temporary standards rob you of a timeless connection. If you're single right now, be patient, but also be wise. Don't reject good people because they didn't match a worldly checklist. Look deeper. Look at their relationship with Allah. Look at how they treat others. Look at how they handle hardship. Because when the lights fade and the years pass, what will remain isn't the filters or followers. It's the one who held your hand through the storm and prayed with you toward Jannah.